evening. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes!
That's great. My name's Billy Sloan. I present the weekend music and chat show on BBC Radio Scotland on a Saturday night. It's 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock in the morning, so I hope each and every one of you is going to be tuned in this Saturday night, because I could do it all the listeners I can get. We're going to start in about 5 minutes time, and I can promise you something very, very special, because in the last 18 months we've had this guy on the programme 3 times, which is a lot. But if it was up to me, I would have him on the programme 52 weeks of the year. He's a fantastic storyteller and raconteur. He's got a million stories. I'm going to try and get through as many of them as is humanly possible in the time allotted tonight. But you know, he's fantastic company, as you're just about to witness. As I say, we've had him on the programme 3 times, and each and every time he's been sensational. I'm sure tonight will be no exception. So I'll just give you an idea of the format that we're going to follow. The people who were in earlier and got their pictures taken, I can tell you that those photographs are going to be available on a Facebook page called Events 105. Events 105. I'll mention that at the very end as well, so that you know. Now, they're probably not going to be posted up there for about another 3 or 4 days, so if you look tomorrow, the next day, don't panic. The guy will go through them, he'll edit them down, he'll put them up, and you'll be able to download your photographs. So again, it's Events 105. So what we're going to do in about 5 minutes time is I'm going to bring John out here, and we're going to talk to him for about 45 minutes. That's the theory, at least, right? Now, the way he goes, I'll probably ask him 2 questions and I'll be struggling to get a word in for the entire 45 minutes, but I promise you it'll be very, very entertaining, because he's sensational, right? So we're going to talk for about 45 minutes or thereabouts. Then we're going to take a 15-minute interval just so everybody can go to the bathroom, grab a drink at the bar, check your phone, that kind of thing. Then he's going to come back and we're going to do a further 20 odd minutes or so, and that will be when you guys get to take part, because we're going to ask people if they've got any questions for the legendary John Lydon. So if you've got a question that you've always wanted to ask him, this is the time. Now, I would point out, try and keep him of a reasonable standard, because we don't want, will you say hello to my girlfriend, and will you wish my next door neighbour happy birthday and all that kind of stuff, because it then just becomes, you're saying oh fuck, right, but you would be amazed. You would be amazed. I once did a thing at the Armadillo in Glasgow a few years ago with Al Pacino, no less, and things were going swimmingly well for an hour and 40 minutes until we had to take questions from the audience. And I'm telling you, the questions from the audience were an insult to your intelligence. It was, in the 20 minutes we wasted getting the worst questions I've ever heard, I had another folder full of great questions we could have asked Michael Corleone, but we didn't have enough time. So if you've got a question, what I'll do is I'll get you to put your hand up, I'll get you to stand up. We don't have a microphone, so you'll need to really shout your question. Say who you are, where you're from, what your question is, and hopefully John will answer it. And this, the way you are at the moment, is absolutely fantastic, because if we could just keep the chat, because if a couple of people start talking, not only is it really distracting, but then it just is a groundswell. So this is great. You want to hang on this guy's every word. You won't want to miss a single thing that he says, I can assure you of that. So if we can keep it like this, I don't want to sound like the headmaster, but you know what I mean. It will benefit everybody, because he's a great talker, and believe you me, you want to hear everything that he says. So in 5 minutes time you'll be face to face with the legend that is John Lydon. Wish me luck. I might need it, but I'm sure he'll be fine. So we'll see you in about 5 minutes, okay?
Cheers.
Thanks a lot. Good evening, my name is Billy Sloan. Welcome to the Hard Rock Cafe in Glasgow, and it's a real pleasure to be here. This for me is an absolute labour of love, because like all of you, I'm a huge fan of the guy that we're about to meet. I was lucky enough in 1977 to see the Sex Pistols play a historic gig at Ivanhoe's in Huddersfield, and I've been a fan of the band's music ever since. I'm just such a fan of this guy and his music. So without further ado, a guy who needs no introduction, will you please take the roof off for the one, the only, John Lydon.
I was the best. correct use of a microphone.
John Lydon, it's fantastic to welcome you to Glasgow. I hope it's going to be an incident-free night, because the last time Public Image Limited played in the city was in 2018, and you played a brilliant gig which I was at the O2 ABC in Suckyhall Street in Glasgow, and 2 nights later the place burnt down and it no longer exists.
Yeah, and I got a fucking blame for it. Well, they tried to swing it my way, because, you know, we were smoking in the dressing room after, naughty boys, right? But it weren't us what did it, because that was a fucking great venue, and I really fucking missed the place, right?
Yeah.
You know?
You're going to be playing tomorrow night with Public Image Limited at the O2 Academy on the other side of the city. Over
It's
on the...
really hard to hear you, Billy. Your microphone's a little too close.
Right, how's that? Is that better? Okay.
And who's the DJ?
You're going to be playing tomorrow night, and it's 4 years since we've seen Public Image Limited play on stage in Scotland. But this band feels the most settled it's ever been. You know, you've got Bruce Smith, Lou Edmonds, and Scott Firth, and you have said it feels more like friends, and you actually like each other. Does that make a big difference when you're trying to be creative and make music?
It's like this. Don't go ever to work with musicians, right? Because they're the biggest fucking arseholes on the planet, right? They work inside categories and disciplines, and Public Image isn't like that. You know, I'm sorry. For me, they've got to be mates, they've got to be friends, and we'll work the music out later. But it's the friendship that actually makes the music, not the note technicalities.
Yep.
So, you know, there you go. And I'm trying to think of a band that could actually outperform us. There isn't one. So fuck off.
You have said that before each and every show you get a bit of stage fright, you get nervous. What on earth are you nervous about? You've been doing it for so long. What is it to be scared of?
It's stage fright, and I've studied it, you know, and I've read famous actors talking about that. That fear before you go on is the very thing you actually need to do what you do. That's your adrenaline, that's your body telling you, respect what it is you're about to fucking try and achieve. So stage fright to me is a wonderful fucking gift, right? I hate it, it makes me sick, I can't eat all day, I'm terrified, but once I'm on, I've got the energy, right? That all these lazy fucking cunts that can walk on stage like, oh, nonchalant, you know they're on heroin. Right? And that did Sid no good. You know what I mean? Drugs don't solve the problem. I like to perform completely stone cold sober, right? Because it's important that you understand I'm doing the absolute best I can. Right? I'm not here to cheat you peoples. Right? But you lot are more than likely here to cheat me. You're not paying enough. Mic drop.
You formed Public Image Limited in 1978, you know, following on from your previous group. Now, you not only made music, but you made rock history and pop history, whatever you want to call it, you know, twice. Lightning did strike twice with John Lydon. When Public Image Limited's first album, first issue was released, it was very, very different. You know, there was a real experimental edge to the music, you know, you were definitely breaking new ground. Was that natural for you? Was that just how you wanted to move? Because a lot of people would have thought that you'd have just come out and done a sort of variation of what you'd done before the Pistols.
So it's important to realise that when I joined the Sex Pistols, I didn't like these cunts and they didn't like me. You know? And history has proved me to be the fucking right one on this. Right? Those fuckers, they did nothing before they met me and they've done fuck all since. But when I formed PIL, I wanted to work with my friends, right? Wobble, Keith, people that grew up around, right? And we were all learning, and I think we did rather fucking good, you know? created an entire new genre of music, you know, Pillars really had the most influence musically than any other thing I've ever done, including Left Field.
Yeah!
Let's go back to let's go back to the very beginning. Let's go back to the very beginning if we can. You know, when John Lydon was growing up, you know, you were the eldest of 4 brothers growing up in a working class household in London. What was life like? Because we all had a kind of tough upbringing. Was that the same for you?
Well, I went through meningitis from 7. I don't want to go on about that, but it took me 4 years to fully recover my memories, right? I couldn't read or write or do anything in that period. I was basically a fucking turnip. I remember telling you recently. But I had to raise my brothers at the same time because my dad worked away, and as I was telling people, he worked on the oil rigs out here. Little seeing, like whatever job he could as a crane driver, and we were incredibly piss poor. We had no indoor toilet till I was 11, but then that's how the neighbourhood was, I know. The only indication of wealth would be the TV adverts of Axminster carpets and things that, you know, nobody ever had. Fucking hell, and nowadays modern fucks, like they go for the bare fucking, you know, wooden floorboards like it's some kind of clever arty design. Fuck off, grew up on that. It's fucking painful. You know, fucking splinters on the toe. Indoor toilets, yeah, no, none. My whole existence as a child was the piss pot under the mattress, right? And you know what the steam of hot, stinky urine does to iron springs on a mattress. And I've still got the scars. Boy, oi, oi, oi.
But I mean, there was
But all of these things, that it's like, I'm not moaning about it. Right? You know, that's just how life was, right? And not so bad after all, because guess what, in them days, we didn't all rob each other, you know what I mean? There was community, and that was very, very vitally important, right? And so for me, going into the Sex Pistols, that's what I wanted to relate to, the enemies that were like trying to chastise and control and manipulate us. You know, I would never say I was political with the Pistols. I was just fucking highly accurate. There is a difference. You know, but I approach life as almost like a librarian, the way I collect music, but the way I collect books, and I'm just ultimately completely fascinated in every single human being's point of view. And oddly enough, PIL is the band for that.
Yeah.
You know? It really is, you know. But I'm singing songs like Death Disco,
yeah.
and there's people crying because they know what the death of a mother and father is, and you're sharing that. That's the fucking best gift that God has ever given me. Sadness, but joy in it, right? So welcome to PIL.
There was a lot of music in the house. When was the first
Tom,
time?
where's the fucking round of applause? Because Billy, you got to remember, right? Yes, I'm Mr. Rotten, but I'm also a fucking ham sandwich.
There was a lot of music in the house. When do you remember the first time that, you know, pop music or rock music, whatever you want to call it,
Oh,
made a big impact on you? Was it a record you heard in the radio? Was it seeing something on top of the pops?
My mum and dad, well, this is before Top of the Pops, my mum and daddy would buy all kinds of music, and particularly the neighbourhood we grew up in, there'd be ska, there'd be, you know, Paddy reels and jigs, and the occasional Petula Clark, who was a favourite of mine, and all that kind of stuff, variety. And so at the age of 4, I was thrilled by it. When my mum and dad run parties and a variety of music. And they let me at that age control the dance set. Now there's an old one for you, right? That was like basically a red box with a grey cover, and you could stack 8 records together, right? And think yourself mighty fucking smart for it, because the paddies are heaving. It was fucking great. But it's things like, oh, do you You Really Got Me by the Kings and stuff like that. Well, that was my mum and dad buying that stuff, and so that sinks in. You know, I come from a good fucking place. I never got on with the Beatles, though. Never understood She Loves You, yeah, yeah, yeah. Fucking hell, yes is good enough, isn't it?
But I mean, were there any bands or any pop stars that you sort of particularly admired back then? I mean, what would have been, when you got into your teenage years, what would have been the first records that you would have bought, or the first kids that you would have got?
Oh no, you're gonna laugh, innit? Oh no, but it is true. I bought Ruby, Don't Take Your Word.
That's a fantastic record.
And you know why? Because I like the fucking colours of the sleeve. So I suppose I'm artistically inclined, but oh, it was a thrill to bring a record home and go, Mum, Dad, listen to this. And they go, oh, we fucking hate Kenny Rogers. Fair play to my mum, you know. She loved Alice Cooper, and I turned her on to Alice, right? And one of the fucking highlights of my life really was meeting Alice as
in your teenage years.
oh my God, I was a saucy fella. You know, when I was getting over the meningitis and my memory was coming back, I was about 11, 12 at this point, I made the decisions that I wanted to go to festivals, and my mum and dad, I've got to give it up to them, right? They went, oh, Johnny's a sensible fella. And I was, you know. I've seen things like, Hawkwind.
Hey, there we go.
You know, I've seen Free at the Isle of Wight. Right? That's, you know, I'm way underage for that thing, but, you know, fucking still, to this day, I love that live recording of the Isle of Wight by Free, because I was there, and how wonderful that fucking sounded to this young little fella, right? That's so important. Early Roxy music, oh my God, I love them. What a bunch of sicko perverts.
And Alex Harvey. Alex Harvey.
Alex Harvey.
Oh, Alex! Alex Harvey was, again, one of them fellas, right? You'd think it'd be hard to meet, but that man was so fucking friendly with me, right? There I am, I'm just starting out in the Pistols, like, fucking wonderful. I'm sorry, the Faith Healer will always remain one of those all-time fucking classics. And oddly enough, because we've done a version of it, it's now Rambo coming to the rescue. None of you remember Vambo?
And I mean, you were always very interested in words, particularly in the record.
Oh, do you know what I used to love too was Status Quo. Oh, yeah.
Great.
They'd hit 40 solid minutes of riffing, right? Which was without lead guitar twiddly solos. Just get your head in that fucking bass bin and bounce. And so, you know, people talk about, early influences of punk. They love to go on about, like, the Yanks having it all. Fuck off, right? Fuck off. This is what we had, right? We had T-Rex, we had Sweet, we had Slade, we had Status Quo, we had Alex Harvey. We had it all, right? You know? And what they got? Patti Smith. Or as I know, a tatty slut. Blondie. oh fucking hell, what a pudding.
But I mean, as I've said, you've always been very interested in words, particularly.
What is it you said, Johnny?
I said Dave Bowie, T-Rex.
Oh, Dave Bowie, yeah, fucking right. Dave Bowie, T-Rex, fuck off, Electric Warrior, hey, Hunky Dory, Ziggy, hey, I need a bunch of fucking New York poetry readers to influence me. Don't fucking think so. You know what I mean? How these intellectuals corrupt the truth, which we all know. We know what it is, right? They're lying fucking hounds, all like chiselers and cottage industries parasiting of us with fibs and fake nonsense. So, hello, I'm John. I'll tell it like it is. Tough, isn't it? Yeah. There's one, yeah, he's Alvin Stardust. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, fucking hell, yeah. It's a good point, John. We just did a gig in London, right? Fucking rocked the house down, right? The most solid, brilliant you know when you're on it. You know when you've achieved something. And we get a 3-star review by some fucking socialist cunt. What was the name of the rag?
Telegraph.
The Telegraph. 3 fucking stars. I get 5 stars just for fucking going to the toilet. Fucking liberty.
But I mean, when you were listening to these bands as a teenager and buying records and going to gigs, were you writing things down? Did you have any kind of aspirations that, you know, you might be good at doing what they were doing?
I think after all these years I must be kind of near good, but the truth is I don't think I'm ever going to reach perfection because I'm like that. It has to be better and better and better and better. Right? And I'm not one to hang on my laurels. It's like I need the next step. I mean, a few years ago I did an interview and they asked me what was my ultimate goal. And I said it was to reach that final high note that would wreck my voice forever. I'm fucking glad I didn't take myself serious. Do you know what I mean? You want to achieve that final thing. I mean, there was that lovely little Japanese girl that came today. Oh, what a sweetie. All the way from Japan to say hello, right? She brought a book, and it's Oscar Wilde in Japanese. I know, pronounce Oscar Wilde in Japanese, please. But the point being, what I loved about Oscar Wilde, and she was picking up on this, was that man on his deathbed, right, said one of the bravest things I've ever heard. And it was this. There he is, he's dying, he goes, "That wallpaper is awful. One of us has to go." That gives such joy to the survivors in life with a statement like that. You know how generous that is. You know, rather than wallowing in self-pity and, "Ooh, save me." It's, you know, go out with a fucking bang. And I've got to say this too, because I really, 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 really appreciated Dave Bowie when he died, that he insisted on a pauper's grave, right? That was so major and class act of him. Yes, he went into the ground in an orange box. What a fucking brilliant move, right? Fucking love you, Dave.
Yeah, Take it take us through, you're a teenager, one Saturday afternoon you're walking up King Road, you come to number
I
430.
can't hear you, they're coughing.
You're walking up King's Road,
And if they continue coughing, we'll put them in a coffin.
you find yourself a shop at 430 King's Road called Zed. Right, Zed.
There you go.
When did it cross your mind that you could be a singer in a band? Did you have these kind of aspirations?
Oh, fuck's sake, I mean, I never thought I'd be a singer in anything. When I was young, you see, the Catholic school was fucking torture. I mean, lock up your children, the priests are coming, I know all about that. So the whole thing was to not get in the choir, right? So you would deliberately not know how to sing. And that was, my early childhood. So when those Sexy Pistols came along and offered me the opportunity, can you imagine how fucking puzzled I was with that? But I did well. I found a voice, because I always loved writing and reading and the tunelessness of them wasn't a problem at all. It was a fucking celebration of life. And to be able to fit words in and use my natural way of projecting was a fucking joy. And I will never, ever, ever disrespect the lads for giving me that opportunity.
What do you remember about the day that you sang the Alice Cooper song, I'm 18, along with the jukebox? What do you remember? Was it a nerve-wracking moment, or did you think, I can do this and I want to give it a go?
Well, I knew it. It's Alice. Like, fucking hell,
Yeah, but you never...
this is how I joined the Sex Pistols. Hilarious, isn't it? I'm marching up and down King's Road with an I Hate Pink Floyd t-shirt, which, by the way, at that time, that was fucking challenging shit, right? It really was, because Pink Floyd was sacrosanct, right? Holier than thou, which was great years later, meeting Mason and them, and they went, oh, we love you, John. They got the giggle, but fans wouldn't. But there you go, so Malcolm actually it was Bernie Rhodes what spotted me, the Clash's manager, and he went, oh, Malcolm, there's one to look out for. And so they arranged to meet me in a pub called the Roebuck, which was around the corner from the sex shop at the far end of King's Road. And I wouldn't go unless it was free drinks. And I did. And then they took me to the shop where Malcolm had on the jukebox there 18 and School's Out and whatever. Not School's Out, it was 18, yes, the earlier album stuff. And they were shocked that I knew it. They were expecting me to, I don't know, lip sync to the Flaming Groovies or something. That'd be, their swagger. But earlier, before the sex shop, that shop used to sell nothing but Teddy Boy gear. And my dad was Ted. So I knew all the rock and roll classics. So I was expecting when I went into the store that I could fucking give it, Richard's Big Style, good golly molly. But no, it was Alice. And it was lovely because they hated me. They absolutely fucking hated me. They thought I was the worst cunt, fucking most talentless arsehole the planet had ever seen. And I've since proved them right.
Things happened very quickly after that because they were coming up with tunes and they would look to you.
They did not come up with tunes.
Well, they look to you. They look to you to provide.
Reddy had a rhythm, right? And Glenn, fair play to him, he was the only one who could actually play anything in the band, right? But because it was bass, it would come out as like, God save the Queen! Fascist regime! Anarchy! And that's the history of it. It's fucking good, isn't it? And the engineer, the producer, Chris Thomas. Oh, this is such a clever move. Didn't know this because he'd worked with Roxy and your music and whatever, and you think, oh, genius is going to pull this all together. We only found out in the studio that he was not only deaf in one ear, but tone deaf in the other. And that's how shit works, because it shouldn't. Right? There's no fucking rule. If you follow the manual, you know, you're not gonna get it. Right? It's luck 98% of the time. But that 2%, which is the most relevant, is that you take the fucking risk. Right? And not many people are prepared to go there. Right? So I want my money back.
Let's go to the 1st of December 1976. You're on the Today Show with Bill Grundy, because Queen were meant to do the show, then it got cancelled at the last minute because Freddie Mercury had to go to the dentist. Can you believe that?
So he's at the dentist?
He was at the dentist. Now with Freddie Mercury. Yeah.
Freddie had to go to the dentist.
And of course,
Billy, that last, it fills in for me.
we know what happened. Overnight, you know, that famous headline in the Daily Mirror, the filth and the fury, life would never be the same again. What were the next 48 hours like after you made that?
How about the 40 minutes leading up to it,
yeah.
Right? You know, we signed this record deal, and yes, Queen cancelled, and the Today Show with Bill Grundy were desperate for a replacement, and the record company offered the Sex Pistols. Well, what did you think was going to happen? Got there early. I had to go on the tube. Of course, the other boys with Malcolm, they arrived, they rented a fucking Rolls Royce, didn't they? Right? Oh, giving it the big one, right? I bumped in on the tube, nearly got caught. Right? I said Margaret Thatcher was my mother. Get in there, and there's a green room. Right? Because Bill Grundy was a fucking fabulous alcoholic. That room was seriously loaded. Right? And I'd been speeding for 3 fucking days. So the alcohol didn't have too much of an effect. But yeah, blind drunk really is how we went on, and felt set up with it, you know. I didn't understand why the Bromley contingent were there, you know, a bunch of fans that later turned out to be Susie and the Banshees, right? Very nice. I've got a little story about her. As soon as she made some money, she bought herself a washing machine. I love this. And she went, oh, when you sit on it and the vibration, it's so good. I'm not fucking joking. But there it is in the studio, and this dirty, nasty fucking cunt is having the audacity to look down on us younger peoples, right? Without his privileges, without his fucking position. You know, we're struggling, we're fucking poor, you cunt. Help us, you know, say a nice thing, you know. Oh, it must be a struggle. No. It's like all accusations. And from that day on, every interview I did for at least 3-4 years after that, Bill, was the same kind of fucking mad dogs wanting to tear me apart, right? And I learned how to fucking wear a suit of armour verbally very well, very quickly. I had to, because it was all about fucking tearing us down, right? The class shitstorm that the BBC loves to create, and ITV and the rest of it was fully there, right? And those were my biggest challenges and my biggest enemies. And I think I did all right. Up until the Disney Corporation. Oh yes, Jimmy Savile. I used to think his name was Saddle. What a nasty piece of shit, eh? Right? And, you know, I'd had enough. I was doing interviews and they were challenging me. You know, who? You question family values. What? Hello? Hello? Anyone know anything about me? I'm all about family. You're my family, right?
Yeah,
fucking little. And they're covering up for a fucking child molester. And he weren't the only one, right? And I felt I'd had enough of this, so I had to have a word. And of course, fucking hell, that blew up in my face. The BBC banned me for the next 4, 5, 6, 10 years, you know. That's why you never heard PIL on the radio, you know. And the BBC is still that way with me, right? They're still vindictive. Even though I pointed out to fucking truth.
Catholic Church.
The BBC is not the Catholic Church. You can't blame them for everything.
But I mean, when, you know, in the space of that 48-hour period...
I didn't finish my point.
Sorry.
By the way, what was my point? It's really fucking hard, the prejudice and the hate you get when you're just telling the truth and the threat of lawsuits coming at me. Oh, you can't say that, you know. Well, fuck off. You know, is Jimmy Savile going to take me to court? I fucking was hoping not at the time. Seriously, like, you know, and all of them, that entire corporation was all about child buggery, and probably still is. And to this day, whenever I do a BBC interview, I raise that as the first point, right? And if they don't want to fucking show or print or broadcast what it is I've got to say, well, fuck off, don't need you cunts.
Yes, yeah.
When Never Mind the Bollocks was released in October of 1977, in your heart of hearts, did you realise the impact it would have both musically and culturally? Did you realise what a big explosion it would cause all across the country?
No, of course not. You just do what you fucking believe in, right? And then all this sensationalism comes to attack you. But one of the most interesting aspects, I suppose, Never Mind the Bollocks, was, yes, we were taken to court. The British authorities have decided they'd had enough of this kind of film. Shut up, I'm talking. Shut up. Alright, you could butt in later. You know, I know you've had a few, but I've had a few more, cunt, and I'm better at it. So, yes. So there's a huge court case in Nottingham over the word bollocks. Oh, it must be stopped, there must be some discipline about this. Who turns up? Only me, eh? No Malcolm, no Steve, no Paul. Those cunts shit themselves in case they got locked up for fucking bollocks. No. Fucking hell, it's bollocks. I was gagging at the bit to get up on the stand and declare that as my right as an Anglo-Saxon word. Don't tell me my language or culture. Right? And I fucking won. Right? I won the case. Right? Greatest fun was going live on Nottingham radio afterwards, and they were, would you like to dedicate a song to the court case? Yes, it was Cliff Richard's Devil Woman, which I dedicated to Malcolm McLaren.
And I mean, of all the songs on Never Mind the Bollocks, and there's a few classics on there, which ones are you most fond of? Which ones are you most proud of, and you think, you know, you really captured a real moment in time?
you can't say it like that because it's...
You must have a favourite though.
No, you don't, because you're always ready for the next song, you see? It's like I was saying about Oscar Wilde earlier, like, you've got more to achieve, right? I'm not one to sit back here and go, oh yes, I was fabulous to that, no. But it's not like that. I don't feel that I've achieved enough in my life. I really don't. I genuinely don't. Right? There's a lot more to do. I'm only 66, right? I want the third 6.
But I mean, when you hear God Save the Queen on the radio, do you get the same kind of adrenaline rush that I get and that we all get here? Does it still excite you?
Oh, listen, you know, with everything really. Occasionally, yes, I'll play old stuff. I mean, I've got to tell you, Never Mind the Bollocks is fucking fantastic.
Yes.
I will never take away from the lads for that. We were really fucking on it at that mo. But I cannot understand why they want to eliminate the original Sex Pistols audience, replace it with a new vacuous bun of TikTok fucking fanatics, right? And just ultimately destroy the point, purpose, and social positioning that we were in at that time. There's a few examples I'll give you. This is an argument that began with them a few years back. You remember a TV series called The Crown?
Yeah.
Right? Well, The Crown approached us. They offered, I think it was £40,000 or something, right? They wanted to rewrite the Jubilee, which, you know, we viewed as their version of the Jubilee. What they wanted, right, was to indicate that in that Jubilee at that time, the Queen was being attacked, right, in her royal carriage, and bricks and bottles thrown at her. Fuck off, did not happen, right? The only people that had any voice at all, right, was us Sexy Pistols, right, on a boat. Why would you want to steal from your own band that legend that you are the only ones that stood up for 40,000 fucking quid? These are the cunts I've now got to tolerate, right? They are wrecking our own fucking history, right? All in search of a new vacuous idiot called a modern FX Pistol fan. How can I not be upset with that? But at the same time, how can I give a tuppence fuck? Because I've seen bits of it, it's fucking shit. No. Always, I will remember truly the heights and joys of what it was to be Mr. Rotten in the Pistols, and none of these fucking Mickey Mouse productions can ever take that away from me.
When you were in the band,
And Danny Boyle's a working class traitor.
when you were in the band in 1977, and
What's he doing?
I don't know.
Yeah, no. Let's go through the history of Danny Boyle, shall we? He's not exactly well known for character development, you know, or accuracy actually. But how could he take on a project like this? Apparently they spent 15 million on that, right? And avoid the man who wrote all the fucking songs. And explain that away as, oh, we're just trying to annoy him. This is the kind of press statements he's putting out. So he spent 15 million of Disney's money to annoy me. Fucking hell, I'm good, ain't I?
John, you're very recognisable. Everywhere you go, people say there's John Lydon, there's Johnny Rotten, right? Once upon a time, I think I'm correct in saying...
I'm that fucking ugly.
Yeah, no, you're not. You were offered an MBA, is that correct?
No.
Is that nonsense?
Oh yeah, that was lovely, right? Ah yes, the press rumours saying like, you know, I was up for knighthood, right? Oh fuck off, right? Am I going to give the fucking Queen the chance to hold a sword over my head? Are you fucking crazy?
Well, what about the Hall of Fame? Because they wanted to induct you and the Pistols, and you said no. Why did you do that?
Yeah, no, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a complete fraudulent organisation. You don't know who's voting for what. The net tells you straight away that's insider corruption. Right? And I wouldn't have a fucking thing to do with it. Right? Of course, the rest of the band are, this is a great opportunity to be popular. Fucking dumb cunts. Right? So, yeah, so I sent a letter, didn't I? Right? Like, you're riding wine, I started with, right? And do you know what the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame did? They fucking set up a wall with that letter on it. But even worse than that, they charge you as a band to go to that event. You have to pay for everything, right? To be told how super you are. It's like a pat on the bottom from Jimmy Savile.
But in 2002, there was a poll of the 100 greatest Britons of all time. Winston Churchill was #1, and some of the people who appeared on it were, as you'd expect, Shakespeare and Oliver Cromwell, Queen Victoria, Charles Dickens, Charlie Chaplin, etc., etc. And you were listed at number 87. You must have been chuffed at that.
87?
Yeah, 87. I'm coming at now. 87. You were in the top 100.
I remember it a little bit differently.
87. Number 87. I have to say that number, and you'll
I think I was in there between, Ian Paisley was in there.
you'll love
The
me.
IRA's favourite weapon.
You love me for saying this. Number 85 was Richard Branson.
Johnny, what was the famous alleged racist that went, there's enough immigrants, right? Oh, what was his name? Enoch Powell! Fucking hell. Weren't he right? He could have kicked us Irish out in a fucking flying second. Enoch Powell and, who was behind it? Nelson or something, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, you know these polls are fake anyway, but the giggle of it, right? Because the press is so fucking false, they believe their own fucking nonsense, and they started running it that way, believing their own fibs. You know, I'm a delicate personality. I just let the fuckers run with it, you know?
Something that happened more recently, which would have eclipsed that, was you appeared, and you were brilliant on it, I have to say, on The Masked Singer in America. Yeah. You were the jester. You did a great version.
Was that all right?
Yeah. What kind of experience was that? Because what a lot of people don't get about you is there's a lot of humour in what you do, and you don't mind the joke being on you a lot of the time. It must have been an absolute gas to do that.
Never take yourself too serious, right? And always beat the punchline to your fucking enemy. But no, The Masked Singer was an amazing opportunity. What a bunch of sweet people they were to me. They knew my wife was suffering. Right? They also knew that I just lost that fucking horrendous court case, right? That's $2 million I can't fucking afford. I've got to look after my wife for the rest of my life. Right? And those cunts have fucking robbed me of the money to do that. Right? So I'm fucking major upset at the time. And along comes this like, oh, well, would you like to be on The Masked Singer? Of course I didn't, but Rambo.
That's why he's your man.
He goes, yes you will. And it was lovely, right? I came straight off the plane into the studio, knackered, tired, wounded, worn out, and he let us design our own outfit, right? And I was basing it on you know, the album cover to, like, you know, the last PIL album, you know, the Jester, the Joker, right? I wanted that, right? And so I went for that. And I wanted to do a couple of songs that Nora would be absolutely fucking thrilled with, right? But not know it's me, see? So when we did it, we recorded it in advance, and I could sit with her and see what her reaction was. And that TV show gave me that opportunity. So, you know, not everyone in corporate universe is a cunt. Right? Well, they are, but you know, but they gave me that, and do you know how fucking deeply that affected me? To sit there with my whole family, I put that on, and Nora to go, Johnny, it's you! You know, with Alzheimer's, they gave me that.
Final question for this part of the evening. Final question for you've got to tell the audience the great story of where you were signed up to.
Oh, by the way, did you like the second song? I am a man of constant sorrow. You try singing that thing with 50 pounds of fucking rubber on it.
Final story for this part of the evening, and you've got to tell the audience the story about when you got the job to advertise Country Life Butter. You turned up, there was no script, nothing, and they just said, do whatever you like. Tell us about that incredible day when you were filming that amazing TV commercial.
I think they looked at me and went, yep, he's been eating butter. And from there on in, it was a cinch. But no, what a great thing too. You see, again, not all corporations are, you know, uncooperative with us as human beings. That first meeting was hilarious. Again, Mr. Rambo, my manager, goes, "No, you got to do this, fuck off." And I go, "Oh, no, John. However, we went to the meeting, and I did everything I could to fuck this. And the more difficult I became, I work with scripts, they went, great. And I was fucking trapped. And 6 weeks later, we find ourselves in the field, right? Hey, no script me, right? They go, right, oh, the lights are on, the cameras are ready, there's some cows in the field, you don't need a script. Go. And somehow I did.
Brilliant.
You know what I mean? It's like you dive in.
What a great story. Would you please give a warm round of applause for the one and only John Lydon. We're going to take a 15-minute break and then we'll be back and you can ask some questions if you want.
I don't need an escort, I'm a superstar.
For the second time tonight, welcome, and it's great to see you all at Hard Rock Cafe in Glasgow. We're going to have about 20 minutes of asking John questions, so if you get any questions, I think the easiest way to do it, we don't have any microphones out there, so the easiest way to do it is if you just catch my eye, put your hand up, catch my eye, and I'll say, the guy in the blue t-shirt, the guy in the hat, and the guy in the red t-shirt, that kind of, stand up, say who you are, and say your question really loud, because it's nice and quiet, we'll be able to hear you without any difficulty, so that's what we're going to do, and the floor's yours, you can ask anything you like, but obviously try and keep it to a reasonable standard. So, for the second time tonight, will you please put your hands together, and welcome back the brilliant John Lydon.
he's John.
Hello, John.
I've just noticed on the wall there is Elton John's boots.
Oh, yes. John, what's your
No, listen. It's a little poignant reminder for you. Elton wore them a long time before the New York Dolls.
Can everyone put their cameras down? This is
Where's your suit there?
Everyone put
No,
their
that's
cameras down.
Rodney's.
John, we were having a quick
I
chat.
fit into that fucking thing.
That's basic rules, isn't it?
Wear that as a pair of socks.
John, we were having a quick chat in the dressing room a minute ago, and you mentioned David Bowie. I'm a huge fan, and I know you are too. When did it start for you? When did you first see him and first hear his music?
I loved Hunky Dory so much. I thought that was fucking amazing. But I also knew all the albums prior to that, and fucking just the songwriting and the originality of it, and the absurdity of what was that? Oh, I can't remember. But it's lounging on the couch in a dress, and it's like that was naughty shit, man. Right? But he was so fucking good that it did not matter, right? And that's when we used to not judge each other, right? That was our brave new world, right? In a woke culture now, they're fucking separating us, right? Dividing us. Yeah, fucking cunts. When did I meet Dave? A couple of times. We were playing in Sweden once, this PIL, right? And you know, like I say, stage fright. It's a very important thing, right, before you go on. And you know, you're trying to find your head to get in the right space. And in walks Dave Bowie into the dressing room and goes, "Hi John, I'd like you to meet my son, Zoe Bowie. Would you sign his albums for him?" And that's such a horrible pressure, man, right? And I said to him, you know, that's fucking uncool, Dave, and you should know that, right? Because you wouldn't let me backstage before your gig. And he went, "Oh, yes, I would." So the next opportunity. Guess what? Fucking fibber. Right? Another time was he was playing the Kentish Town. What was it called?
The Town and Country Club.
No.
Tin Machine.
It's from Kentish Town, often playing it.
No, the venue.
The venue was the Town and Country Club.
Forum. The venue.
The Forum.
No.
Yeah.
The Dingwalls.
No. Oh, anyway, it's a big fucking theatre, right? And he was on. God, oh no, it was Iggy that was playing, right? And Iggy brought his fabulous super friends that was playing, you know, and David, and so right? Because I'm furious about this rejection from earlier. So, Kentish Town, you see, that's my manor. I grew up around there, right? I know how to break into everything locally, and so I did. And I burst into the dressing room and, oh, they're all having super lines of cocaine on the table. Oh, and furious that I spotted it, right? But the biggest fucking joke of it was, I knew the dodgy cunt they bought that shit. Dude. And that's life. Do you know what I mean? That's real life. And all of that. And the biggest, I think, thing between me and Dave Bowie is we've both lost the lining between our nostrils.
We're going to now take some.
And according to Michael Jackson, that helps you sing better.
We're now going to take some questions. So who would like to kick it off? The guy at the front. What's your question for John Lydon?
Hi John.
Who are you first of all?
Hi, I'm Steve. I'm from Berwick-on-Tweed. What was the crack with?
No, you have to talk louder than that, fella.
Sorry,
I don't do whisperers.
you're not. So, how come you ended up on Judge Judy?
It's a couple of things I'll tell you here. I thought she had the sexiest fucking eyes I've ever seen. There was something just really terrifically female in her that I really, really admired. So I tried to flirt, got me nowhere. I was about to go on tour in Japan, and we had this drummer whose name is not to ever be mentioned again, but he demanded more money 2 nights before. But I threw a dinner, because that's what I do. I take everybody out to dinner before we go on tour. And he slung across the table that he demanded more money, or else he wouldn't go to Japan. And that fucked everything up. And then he started bragging about how he was a black belt judo expert. And somehow, accidentally, he walked into my fucking elbow. And I end up on Judge Judy for assault. But Judy looked into my lovely eyes too and knew I wasn't lying. It's a puzzlement that I keep getting caught up in these fake fucking accusations, you know. It's really fucking hard to deal with that, right? One of the worst accusations was oh my God, I was with the Pistols, we were doing a reunion, it was in Barcelona, right? And it was a fucking wonderful festival. And backstage comes along this band of arseholes called Block Party, right? Who weren't even on the bill, right? And they run straight at. I'm talking to people like I do, signing, you know, because that's me, just like tonight, right? Any gig, same thing, right? And he comes running up, racism. Yeah. Well, he don't know. Me fucking grandkids are Jamaicans, right? Fucking cunts, right? And you get accused of that, right? And then you have to deal with a fucking legal process. But it was an even funnier one. It's an abstract thought, but does anyone remember the Mamas and the Papas? Yeah. All the leaves are green. Mama Cass accused me of siring her son. I was aged 4 at the time. And I had to fucking attend that court case in America. Yeah, that's the lunacy that can go on. You have to answer it. So, you know, I mean, what a fucking wacky world, you know. Every day, anywhere we go, right? I mean, here we are, we're all friends, but it would only take one of you to be offended for me to end up fucking have to defend a load of fucking nonsense. If this boy's racist, well then Formula 1 and fucking Hamilton should go fuck off.
The guy in the red shirt, what's your name, where are you from?
I'm Johnny. I was named after some mad cunt for a band in the 70s.
Where are you? All I can see is a girl with black hair. Oh, hello, sir. Oh, yeah, what mad band were you in?
No, I was named after a mad cunt for a band in the 70s.
Oh, you're Lydon!
I'm Johnny. I'm not lying, I'm Johnny.
Do you know what? It's an odd thing.
My brother was Lydon.
Oh, shut up, he's taking. You'll get your turn, Muppet. It's really strange how many people come up and go, I'd like you to introduce my son to you, who I named Lydon. Oh. Wow. You know, fucking hell. I don't take that lightly at all. It means I must be doing some kind of fucking good.
I don't know about that, man. It's a bad name.
So what's your question?
My question is, so I'm a bit younger obviously, but I've known the Sex Pistols a long time, but I watched the Pistols on Disney and I really enjoyed it. But I want to know what your opinion is of the character that betrayed you.
There's no resemblance to the truth in what you've just seen. That is the tragedy of it. It is a complete rewriting, engineered to eliminate the original fan base and replace it with fake fucking art. Now, I'll give you an example, right? There's nothing in that fucking thing, right, that resembles anything like what you're talking to right now. You know? Hello. I'm in What Did It and those fucks ain't. The end.
The lady in the second row.
Hi, my name's Rachel, and I would love to hear you talk about your creative process in your songwriting, and if you have any kind of words of encouragement for a fellow creative.
Creative.
Yeah.
You're not talking to a New York doll.
There must be something.
What the fuck does that jargon mean? Who really thinks like that? Who thinks? I wrote it out. That's it. You know, the creative tribe. Thoughts occur. You don't need the ridiculous intellectualisms of the middle classes upon you to define how you do what you do. You do what you do because you're living a real life, and you base everything on those experiences, right? Not a second-hand version, right? Or a book of rules or a manual. Unless it's Manuel from Fawlty Towers.
The guy there with the beard in the second front row. No, the guy with the pill to you. Quiet.
My name is André, I'm from Brazil.
Hello.
Hello. I'd like to know a little bit
Have you got a
about...
Brazilian?
Yeah. I was there when you played there in 1996.
Yeah, we talked earlier. Yeah.
And I missed the PIL in 1987 there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I would like to know a little bit about the 90s. You made a great record, That What Is Not, and then PIL broke up. Then you wrote...
No, we didn't break up. The record company decided to defund me, right? And so for something like 18 years, they kept me in solid debt. The only way I could break out of that and come back into music was by doing a butter fucking advert. You know, it was a serious fucking struggle, man, because the record companies, they were signing bands that were basically fucking imitating me, Smashing Pumpkins or whatever. You know, this kind of like, you know, they were delving into my genres that they weren't fully fucking entitled to welcome themselves into. And Massive Attack was a big fucking copycat, that lot, right? Because we created the technology that they went on to use, right? We were fiddling about with Fairlights and the likes at the time. But the record company, they pulled the fucking financial strings on me. And that was a deliberate move to remove me from the music industry, right? And it was very, very hard, man. The press were like totally out to kill me. It was just enemies. But I bared. I went through that. So, shall I be pretentious here? It was like Jesus in the wilderness years. What's ended up now is after like getting the money from different fucking sources, really, I managed to break free of the crippling aspect of major corporative record labels. Public Image now is completely independent of what we call the shitstorm, right? we finance ourselves. We do these gigs to make money, to be able to record, and the wheels on the bus go round and round, and we're very fucking happy for that, right? It's not about like fucking securing huge amounts of money and living in some fucking fabulous fucking like fiasco in Sussex next to a, what's that fucking Irish fake with the ginger hair that makes shit records?
Ed Sheeran. I don't know if he's Irish, but he certainly makes shit records.
You know that fake Wally lifestyle, that you know, they all want to be so popular. Oh, fuck off. Just be fucking decent to people. That's the fucking reward, and that's what public image is. And you know, because you came all the way from Brazil, because you don't get that human connection from fuck all other bands, right? They don't care, they just want your money and show off. And that's now why we've got, Phil Collins in a wheelchair. That's my wheelchair. You know, no, but not only did he not rip off my fucking drum styles, you know, when I put together the Flowers of Romance, right? And suddenly that became the Phil Collins drum sound. But he's fucking nicked me wheelchair. Audacity.
The guy with his hand up with the glasses.
Yes, name is Tony.
Hello.
My question, John. Popularity is sometimes highly overrated.
Shut up, he's talking. Sorry, sir, I didn't hear your question properly. Popularity is overrated.
Often overrated.
Well, it's also fake, isn't it? I mean, we know there's no such thing really as a top 10, you know. There's a situation set up, you know.
My question is, how many people, and you may not be aware of this, how many people do you think signed the petition to stop you being expelled from school?
See, this is Tony. I went to school with Tony. and listen, Tony Purcell, right? He brought me the greatest gift of all the day, the old school tie. Right? Except, you know, we're not the superior lot, right? We're trash school. So it's Bash Street kids, isn't it, mate? Tony.
3 people, John.
Yeah.
3 people.
Yeah.
Nobody else would sign.
Yeah, do you remember when they kicked me out?
I do.
I mean, for what? Because I asked fucking questions. Yeah. You know? And do you remember Dave? He broke into the office. He got the school report on me, right? From a primary, right? And it read like problem child, difficult, ask questions. Fucking hell, I'm recovering from meningitis. What the fucking hell am I to do but ask a question? And there you go, Tone.
Yeah.
Ah, God bless you, man.
Okay, the guy.
Just a minute, ain't that great? We went to school together in London. And we meet up in Glasgow. Tony, stand up! William York!
The guy waving the handshake with the pillow.
Sorry, sir, but that was important, you know? Format. I mean, how the fuck's that going to work with me? Right? But I managed to break the shits, right? Mostly because we were all kind of rather stupid, I suppose. But it's an entrapment, and it's so much better to be outside of their agendas. And it's taken me years to break free. So I just speak with some serious experience here. I was waltzed into contracts I didn't completely understand. Right? There were lines in Virgin contract that said they owned the rights to CDs and cassettes in outer space or the further universe they're in. This kind of stuff, you know, when you're 18 years old, what the fuck does that mean? It's a serious problem, man.
Where were you happiest? What was your happiest time in your journey so far?
My journey so far, the happiest time of my life is knowing that my wife has Alzheimer's and she hasn't forgotten me.
Yeah.
Okay, the guy in the third row.
Hi Joe, as we were saying earlier on, we hope Nora's doing well. My first question is...
Thank you for the present, my friend.
You're welcome, you're welcome. If you could have written any song or be remembered for any song apart from your own, what one would you want to have done?
The one I haven't written yet. I know it sounds cynical, but it's the absolute truth, because you have to keep on doing better, because you only get one chance at life, right? And you can't rest on your laurels. That's just not fucking good enough. So it's a continual struggle. And I am naturally an incredible self-doubter, right? But for me, the punishment and fear before a gig is nothing compared to the fucking guilt I feel for making something wrong afterwards. Even though everyone will go, oh, it was great, it was this, it was that. But there's that inner thing where you think you could have done it better. Now, by better I mean more honest, right? Because whether you like it or not, like, after all these years I've been in this industry, I can find myself falling into the cliches. You can't help it, I suppose. The showbiz thing, right? I'm trying to be as honest with you as I possibly can. It's a very, very difficult fucking world I live in, right? Where every single thing I say will be judged.
Yep.
Right?
Have you got a song you
my head is in the fucking guillotine.
Yep. What song would you go to though? Say you go on your...
There isn't a song yet. There isn't. It isn't like that. Unless Kate Bush wrote it.
Hey!
The guy in the front row.
Hiya. Listen,
Who are you?
I'm Davey. I'm
Davey,
from
good.
here. And I just wanted to ask you, Alison, I'm a big fan of fucking Cycles Path, right? I listen to it all the time. I like my boy here.
Psychopath, yeah.
I would like to know.
Yeah. Let me tell you the story on that album.
Rock album.
Could I have that in English?
What's your favourite Krautrock album?
No, I'm sorry, you're too far away and I can't quite make out.
Your favourite Krautrock album?
My favourite who? What?
Krautrock album.
Krautrock. Oh, Krautrock. Oh, fucking hell, Kraftwerk, when they fucking started. Wow! Wasn't that fucking amazing?
Yeah.
I'll tell you a little story about this. This isn't before Kraftwerk started, when the Sex Pistols were having problems. So me and Sid decided we wanted to go on holiday. So we went to New Jersey and we got thrown off the island. So we took the next flight to Berlin, right? And it was fucking amazing what the crowds were doing on the dance floor. It was so... boom, boom, boom. But in tutus. And it was quite fucking great, and we were really, really impressed with how advanced they were compared to like what Britain was up to, you know. So fucking loved that. I'd also loved, which is peculiar, that the British Army, like, you know, and they fucking loved me and Sid. So Krautrock, man, ja, das ist gut, das ist wunderbar, ja, mein Herr,
Okay, one final
And it's
question.
not Nazi. That's the thrill, you know? It's inverted it in such a fucking good hammering way, you know? Because let's face it, most of us are fucking cripples and we can only dance up and down. Kraut rock.
One final question then, and it goes to the guy in the white t-shirt. Stand up, tell us who you are.
Right, I'm Max. John, what's your favourite tune about the now?
What? What's your favourite song that's around at the
Out
now?
now. I don't think I've listened to the radio in ever such a long time, since it like turned into Sirius and all this shit and technology. I don't like my music supplied like that, you know? And so for me, I'm traditional. I've got fucking so much vinyl, right, that I had to restructure my house with RSG rigs, right? Because the record collection weighs the size of a fucking baby elephant. Right? So what I tend to do is I come back to my roots, right? And occasionally a band comes along that introduces something that really fucking thrills me, and then they join. But I don't catalogue it, by the way. I don't run records like A, B, C, D, 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 D. With me, it's, I know where they are anyway. I could fill this room right now with my record collection, right? And there'd be no room for you lot in it.
Yeah.
I love music. And everybody and anybody, right? No matter how squealy or out of tune or whatever, the fact that they put the energy into doing that, right? For my benefit, I fucking love and adore them. I find no faults with anyone that puts their head in the guillotine. And that's what proper musicians are. Right? Salute.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please give a very warm thank you to the one and only John Lydon.
Can I just say, apologies if I sounded braggy tonight, you know, because there's always that tendency, right? I'm just trying to tell it to you like it fucking is, right? Take me or leave me, but I am a fucking proper human. Right? Yeah.
Just finally to remind you of the people here who are trying to get the photographs, they will be available on the Facebook page of Events 105. Don't panic. Within